Okay, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Not much going on today, so I'm going to do a show again. Hey, Paul. You got time to do another big intel day? No errands today I have to do, so everything's all good. So, did you see anything this morning on Nick Shirley's live video he had going on with Tim Waltz? Oh, they are really getting them this morning. And then the other topic was I think Crockett lost the primaries last night, and she said that there was cheating involved. I guess we can go take a look at it. Wow, $9 billion they're saying funds were stolen on Medicaid. Yeah, we'll take a live look at it here before we do the intel. I know everybody's working at this time of the day, so they'll be hopefully get the chance to listen when I do the morning show. I'll start here in a few minutes. I'll go at five after. Yep. So April's gonna be here really quick. So they said April something was supposed to happen. So again, so I don't know. March Madness starting up. So we'll go ahead and take a look at live coverage. Um, of the hearing. I think Flying Eagle was telling me that. So there was a clip about Guthrie's mom. They're having a ceremony Saturday, but they didn't find the body. But they're considered she must have got took it away, I guess. But can't confirm it yet. But that's what they're saying. Oh, and Benny got Crockett live too about the stuff last night. But we're gonna do the Tim Walsh update. Okay. I'm just typing in my banner. Crockett said there was cheating last night, Kay. That's what I was trying to call you about Crockett. YouTube entertainment and opinion purposes only. Okay, well, I guess we should do. We got two top stories. I don't know which one to go first, Kay. Crockett or Walsh. It looks like Benny's live right now, too. I'm going to go back.
Hometown of Round Rock, Texas. And since then,
goes like kind of wildly from very like chill and media. He is the flavor certainly of the week. That Jasmine Crockett is not who she says she is. That Jasmine Crockett is not even from Dallas. She's not from Texas. She's not even from the hood. Jasmine Crockett is in fact from one of the single nicest, leafiest, richest, poshest suburbs in all of America. And that Jasmine Crockett is somebody who, and again, you're going to see this in St. Louis, it's wild, lived a life of extreme privilege. She lived a life of overwhelming support from the white communities that she comes from. She learned how to play the flute in one of the most audacious and auspicious and expensive private day schools in the country. This is a $35,000 a year school that she went to from pre-K through high school. Then she went on to Rhodes College, and that, of course, didn't happen. And in fact, the results in Venezuela have been remarkably good.
We are. You can't pay us enough to find a patient.
I want the American people to know that when you stand up to a bully, you win. Do not back down. Do not bend.
And I'm the first one. You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out, all right?
But at the end of the day, I am who I am, and I am authentic.
All right. I can't believe we haven't found the Waffle House one. That's fine.
Dallas County. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do. And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why. So I want you to enjoy yourselves, but I won't be back tonight because I have no idea of when we're going to get results, and I fully anticipate it
Listen to
won't
this.
be
Listen to
until
this.
tomorrow.
Listen to this.
So I love y'all too.
Okay.
Thank
listen.
you so
Listen.
very much for being here.
She called the election rigged here in her speech. She called the election rigged. The Jasmine Crockett to Donald Trump. When is Jasmine Crockett going to get an orange spray tan and start getting like dyeing her hair blonde and doing like a poof? Like when the Jasmine Crockett to Donald Trump pipeline is happening in real time. It's amazing actually to watch. I'm sure we can AI that. Give me a Jasmine Crockett as Donald Trump. Okay, so Jasmine Crockett. So listen to the way she's. Listen to this. This is why you lose.
We all know why.
I think we all know why.
I
So
want you to enjoy yourselves.
Enjoy yourselves.
I won't be back tonight because I
won't be back tonight
of when we're going to get results.
And I have no idea when we're going to get results.
It won't be until tomorrow.
I fully anticipate it won't be until tomorrow, says Jasmine Crockett. That's the Jasmine Crockett from last night. Here's the Jasmine Crockett from 1 month ago.
Maybe because these people, they are crazy because they always talk about how Christian they is. Yeah, I don't know how many of them on that side are getting divorced because they getting caught up sleeping with their co-workers, staffers, interns, all the things. Yeah, you ain't got to believe me. Just go Google. You'll find some of it. I'm telling you.
Okay. Trans people need to have abortions. Here we go. In just 1 moment, he's running for governor in Michigan, and critical as well.
Okay. That's that. I fast forwarded. I just want to hear a little bit of Crockett there. And so now we'll go to Nick Shirley's update with Tim.
Payments are stopped. A little over a month later, the payments are restarted. Why didn't you tell the truth about why you restarted the payments?
Well, Chairman, we did tell you, and Feeding Our Future grew because of the pandemic. And
I didn't ask that question. I said, why didn't you tell the truth about why you restarted the payments? The payments stopped because there were concerns, obviously, it wouldn't stop the payments. Then they're restarted a month later. What was the reason for restarting the payments?
My understanding was the agency believed that the court had required them to make those payments.
And that was false, wasn't it? You repeated that. You said that, didn't you? You said that's why the reason you said the reason you restarted is because the court ordered you to do so. Is that right?
I don't believe that is settled yet, to the best of my knowledge.
Well, I think it is, because the court did something that I don't know if I've ever seen it. They issued a statement saying you were wrong in what you were saying. This is from the court. It says, Feeding Our Future versus Minnesota Department of Education, correcting reports and statements by Governor Tim Walz concerning orders issued by the court. Here's what the judge says. Governor Tim Walz told the media that the Minnesota Department of Education attempted in payments to FOF because of possible fraud, but that Judge Guthman ordered payments to continue in April 2021. Next sentence. That is false. So you said something that wasn't true. He further states this, Judge Guthman, the court says this, Judge Guthman never ordered the Department of Education to resume payments to Feeding Our Future in April 2021 or at any other time. So I want to know, why didn't you tell the truth?
Congressman, the attorneys at the Department of Education interpreted that differently. Both of those judges are no longer on the bench, and I think that interpretation.
The very first sentence. The first 7 words. This is not some unnamed source talking to the New York Times. This is not some anonymous source talking to whatever your Minnesota Star Tribune or whatever your paper is. This is the court speaking. First sentence, first 7 words. Due to inaccurate statements by the governor, Ramsey County District Court judge has issued and authorized this following news release. That's pretty straightforward. So the court's lying?
I can't tell you, Congressman, but the interpretation
Somebody's lying, because you can't say the court ordered you to restart the payments, and then the court says we didn't order you to restart the payments. So either you're lying or the court's lying. And I'm just asking you, which one is it?
I just simply know what the attorneys at the agency believed, that it was a misinterpretation.
Could
And
it
I would
be-
note that those
Could it
payments.
be you were trying to hide behind the court, Governor? Could that maybe be the reason why you issued the statements you did and why the court had to do something you never see done before? They issue a press statement saying you're wrong. The governor is wrong. His statement is, their words, not mine, false. Could that be the reason?
That was not the interpretation of the attorneys. And you know, court work, you can appeal those, Congressman, as you well know. I'm sure
Is it all about politics, Governor?
No, it's about taking care of our people, which Minnesota does better than anyone else.
3 million, the behavioral intervention program went from 3 million to 400 million in 5 years. The housing stabilization went from 2.6 million to 104 million. The integrated community supports went from 4.6 million to 170 million in 3 years. And this is unbelievable what's happening. And you're trying to hide behind some pretend court order, some court order that didn't exist. Governor, who's Casey Magan?
I don't know who Casey Magan is.
Well, I'll tell you. Mr. Magan is a Somali American and a fraud investigator in the guy beside you's office, in the Attorney General's office. And here's what he said. There was a perception that forcefully tackling this issue might cause political backlash among the Somali community, which is a core voting bloc. Did that have anything to do with this whole fraud scheme that went on in your state, Governor?
It did not, Congressman.
It did not. So you're saying Mr. Casey Magan is lying too?
I'm not.
You're the only one telling the truth in the whole state. Mr. Magan, who's a fraud investigator at the Attorney General's office, says it's politics. The court said
I couldn't speak for Mr. Magan. You asked me a question.
I know. I'm asking.
And I said no when you asked me the question.
I'm saying Casey Magan said just the opposite.
I don't know.
So the court's wrong and Casey Magan's wrong. You're the only guy right.
You're really
How many
going
people
at
have been
it.
indicted
Oh,
in your
yeah,
state right now?
you
Do you
did.
know, Governor?
I don't have those numbers with me.
You don't? 98 people been indicted. You happen to know how many are Somali American?
I don't. We don't investigate or prosecute people based on ethnicity, religion.
Neither do I. We shouldn't do that. But Mr. Magan is a Somali American who just said that the court, one of the concerns was this is a core voting block. And I just want to know if you know how many of the 98 people who have been indicted in your state are Somali.
Can you answer
I don't.
that?
Their ethnicity is not my concern.
85% of the people indicted were Somali American, key voting block. And I think that's what drove this whole thing. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Before
So I thought I was played that with Jordan. Jordan was really going at it with him on that. Okay, we are going to get intel going here. No Billy Bean yet. So we got an update on Samantha's mom. I found a clip. We'll get some short ones in for a bit, and then we'll get to the 10-minute ones. For a minute.
Arizona, I mean, can you believe that it's gone on 30 days now and we don't have any real solid updates?
You know, I guess I got out there the day after the Super Bowl, so it's been a couple of weeks. And, you know, at that time, I was thinking to myself, and I think most of us who were covering it, who were watching it and you know, following along with the investigation, even at the time when I would talk to other folks in the media, because we were all kind of at the same hotel, in this case, a couple of different hotels, but we were all, you know, seeing each other in the lobby and lobby bar at dinner and, you know, around. And the general consensus, I could say even back then, was that, you know, it's highly unlikely that she's still sadly with us.
Right.
And here at 30 days and counting, right, I think that just underscores that. We have a video now of Savannah and her family visiting there's a memorial that, and like when I was out there, maybe we can show that. When I was out there, one of the first places I went was right in front of her home where the media was sort of set up. They've now blocked that off, by the way. You can't park there. It's a no parking area, but right there at her driveway entrance, it's a semicircular sort of rock, gravel, dirt driveway right in front of those cacti there. There's it's a memorial. It's an impromptu memorial. Folks have come out, they leave flowers, notes. There's a sign there, obviously showing support and wanting her safe return. And I can tell you from looking at this, what I'm seeing on my screen right now, this has tripled in size just in the couple of weeks since I've been there. So there's clearly a lot of support still in the community and well wishes for them.
Yeah. Well, and we have a little bit of an update. I mean, it seemed like something, at least we're getting something. There was a new Ring camera footage. So new video showed a vehicle leaving her neighborhood. And this was around the time of the disappearance. The Ring camera showed, and it's a house that's about 2.5 miles from her home, shows that they drove about 8 minutes after her pacemaker had been disconnected. So her pacemaker, you know, we sort of have a timeline because her pacemaker was linked to her watch and linked to her phone. And when that disconnected, that's the time that we all assume that she was actually removed from the house. So we're working on that timeline, using that timeline. And if we use that, about 8 minutes after that is when this car was seen about 2.5 miles from her house, leaving the neighborhood. And I think it's interesting because this wasn't found initially because they had a much smaller search area. So what the police do is they start small and then they slowly broaden that area. So they had a very small perimeter at first, getting all of the Ring camera footage, anybody's cell phone cameras, anything like that. And then they've expanded it a little bit. And so now they've got this footage from about 2.5 miles away. So, maybe this will help us establish a suspect, establish someone, because they've got a car. It was a light colored SUV. Yeah. And so hopefully that will give us something. If they can question whoever owns this car, that will give us a little bit more.
There's a lot. So the area out there is, it's not a very congested area. It's, but it is a residential area, right? And so I think that we're in the area where that video of that car could mean something, or it could be unrelated. We just don't know. And honestly, from looking at it, and by the way, we showed it. And if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube here at MK True Crime, you might want to take a minute to do that so you can see what that car looks like. And by the way, if you do watch on YouTube, put in the comments, because I'd like to read it, and I will read it, what you think that car is and how it may be relevant, because I'm really on the fence about it. I don't know. It could be completely unrelated, but it was in the middle of the night, the wee hours of the morning, I guess. And there's not going to be that much traffic out there at that time. So that does push it maybe in the area of, hey, maybe that is the car. Because look, remember back to the Brian Kohberger case, right? It was the presence of his car near the scene that sort of unrolled or started unraveling that case and eventually led to his conviction. So maybe it will help.
Yeah, I'm with you, Phil. I think it will, and I hope it will. So at least the family can get some closure.
Okay, that was last update on that. Let's see about this lady here about talking. Five minutes.
Attacked Iran in an operation that killed the top of Iran's power structure. The supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, the no new wars president, who ran on America not wasting money or human lives being the police of the world, the man who just took 10 billion American taxpayer dollars to start the Board of Peace, ignored the rules-based order and constitutional requirements to get congressional approval for war, and just took out the sovereign leader of another nation because he wanted to. What I want people to remember here, because I know there's a lot of people who are understandably thrilled that the supreme leader is gone, is that many things can be true at the same time. We can say the Ayatollah was evil, a terrible leader who treated the people of Iran with unbridled brutality, and we can say that what Trump did was unconstitutional. We can acknowledge that Iran has been under the yoke of a horrendously oppressive regime for over 40 years and deserved liberation, while still saying it is a terrible idea for state leaders to go around assassinating other state leaders. We can recognize that Iran will be better off with regime change, while also acknowledging that the Trump administration has no plans on how that's going to come to be, which makes it entirely possible that what comes next will be worse, because this administration didn't take the time to think it through. And I think it would be fair to say that the Trump administration is probably the least competent administration we have ever had.
What do you guys think of this lady?
Handle regime change in the Middle East, from their experience to their conflicts of interest. There was nothing good about the Ayatollah, but just killing him and his entire bloodline because we wanted to is not in line with being a nation of laws. America was not supposed to declare war without the will of the people, represented by Congress, because we are ultimately the ones who pay for it with our tax dollars and our lives. What's weird is this administration doesn't even seem to be concerned with selling this war to the American people, because we just sat through the longest State of the Union speech in the country's history with Iran barely being mentioned. And now we're at war with them in an.
That's all I needed to know. I wasn't sure. Here's a better one, you guys.
It's December 11th, the year of our Lord 2025. And
that's an old one. Okay, what do we got going here?
You don't have to miss a moment. You've got better things to do than taxes. Have a local TurboTax expert file for you.
4 days into this, metrics are shifting, dust is settling, and more forces are arriving. It's very early.
This is
and as
morning,
President Trump
you guys.
has said, we will take all the time
5
we
minutes.
need to make sure that we succeed. Second, we are only 4 days into this, and the results have been incredible. Historic, really. Only the United States of America could lead this, only us. But when you add the Israeli Defense Forces, a devastatingly capable force, the combination is sheer destruction for our radical Islamist Iranian adversaries. They are toast, and they know it. Or at least soon enough, they will know it. And we have only just begun to hunt, dismantle, demoralize, destroy, and defeat their capabilities, just 4 days in. Starting last night and to be completed in a few days, in under a week, the two most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace. I hope all the folks watching understand what uncontested airspace and complete control means. It means we will fly all day, all night, day and night, finding, fixing, and finishing the missiles and defense industrial base of the Iranian military, finding and fixing their leaders and their military leaders, flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital, flying over the IRGC, Iranian leaders looking up and seeing only U.S. and Israeli air power every minute of every day until we decide it's over. And Iran will be able to do nothing about it. B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets, death and destruction from the sky all day long. We're playing for keeps. Our warfighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours truly. Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it. This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not a fair fight. We are punching them while they're down, which is exactly how it should be. Thus far, Operation Epic Fury has delivered twice the air power of shock and awe of Iraq in 2003, minus Paul Bremer and the nation building.
About 2 minutes.
The campaign has 7 times the intensity of Israel's previous operations against Iran during the 12-day war. 7 times.
Speech by him.
And as President Trump said, more and larger waves are coming. We are just getting started. We are accelerating, not decelerating. Iran's capabilities are evaporating by the hour, while American strength grows fiercer, smarter, and utterly dominant. More bombers and more fighters are arriving just today. And now, with complete control of the skies, we will be using 500-pound, 1,000-pound, and 2,000-pound GPS and laser-guided precision gravity bombs, of which we have a nearly unlimited stockpile. We used more exquisite standoff munitions at the start, but no longer need to. Our stockpiles of those, as well as Patriots, remains extremely strong. The enemy can no longer shoot the volume of missiles they once did, not even close. And the chairman will lay out some of those percentages. So our air defenses and that of our allies have plenty of runway. We can sustain this fight easily for as long as we need to. And as I said yesterday, we set the terms. Now, you may not see much of it because the IRGC shut off the internet to the entirety of the country. They blind their people on purpose, just like they kill their own on purpose. Much was made of the volume of missiles Iran was able to shoot in the first few days. And sadly, as we projected, a few got through and killed 6 of our best, who will hopefully arrive home soon.
Okay, Pete giving us an update. Okay, Kay sent me a clip from last night. Short one.
Time saying the U.S. conducted military operations with Ecuador against designated terrorist organizations. That's according to the Pentagon. U.S. Southern Command also posting this video of the operation on X tonight. The Pentagon, according to Reuters, is saying that Ecuadorian and U.S. forces launched those joint operations to combat drug trafficking, according to U.S. Southern Command, although neither side gave more details on the operation. Southern Command is the U.S. military's combatant command that encompasses 31 countries throughout the South and Central America, as well as the Caribbean. Ecuador's defense ministry said in a statement it was working with the U.S. in offensive operation and added that the details of this are classified. This announcement comes after the president of Ecuador said Monday that his government would conduct those joint operations with the U.S. and other allies in March, framing this effort as, quote, a new phase against narco-terrorism and illegal mining. And we also have the tweet that came with this video from U.S. Southern Command. They said on March 3rd, Ecuadorian and U.S. military forces launched operations against designated terrorist organizations in Ecuador. The operations are a powerful example of the commitment of partners in Latin America and the Caribbean to combat the scourge of narco-terrorism. They say, together we are taking decisive action to confront narco-terrorists who have long inflicted terror, violence, and corruption on citizens throughout the hemisphere. We commend the men and women of the Ecuadorian armed forces for their unwavering commitment to this fight, demonstrating courage and resolve through continued actions against narco-terrorists in their country. That's coming from U.S. Southern Command, along with that video of the operation there in Ecuador targeting terrorist organizations and drug trafficking.
Okay, good one, Kay. Thanks for sending that over.
City. Call came in at 2:47 in the morning.
About 3
It wasn't
minutes.
from a tipster, a snitch, or an informant working off a sentence. It came from a 14-year-old girl who had stolen a phone from a nightstand while a man twice her age slept in the next room. She whispered 7 words to a 911 dispatcher in Queens before the line went dead. There are hundreds of us in here. The dispatcher flagged it. NYPD's Special Victims Unit picked it up within the hour. But when they ran the address, a sprawling estate in the Fieldston section of the Bronx, one of the most expensive residential neighborhoods in New York City, they hit a wall. The property was registered to a shell company called Aurelia Holdings Group, incorporated in Delaware, with a mailing address that traced to a mailbox service in Panama City. No individual name appeared on any document, no tax lien, no code violation, nothing. The house, a 22,000 square foot limestone mansion set behind wrought iron gates on a 2-acre lot, had been purchased 18 months earlier for $14.6 million in cash. And yet nobody in the neighborhood could say with certainty who lived there. That phone call, those 7 whispered words, would eventually unravel a trafficking network spanning 11 states and 3 countries. It would lead to the largest single location rescue operation in FB war history on American soil. And it would expose a man who had hidden in plain sight for nearly a decade, building an empire not on drugs alone, but on human beings. His name, at least the one he used most often, was Deimos Kessler. Nobody in federal law enforcement had heard of Deimos Kessler before that night. And that, investigators would later say, was exactly the point. He had designed his entire operation around invisibility. While cartel leaders in Mexico built narco mansions with gold-plated toilets, while CJNG commanders filmed executions for social media, Kessler operated like a ghost in a bespoke suit. He attended charity galas. He donated to hospital wing. He owned a minority stake in a regional airline and sat on the advisory board of a fintech startup in Manhattan. He was, by every outward measure, a successful immigrant businessman from Eastern Europe who had made his fortune in logistics and real estate. The logistics part was true. Just
tonight, over 4.
Okay, another update on drug crime there. Did we play this one yet?
They're launching a fraud probe into the $124 billion Medicaid program that they believe has rampant fraud. Dr. Oz announcing this today, a huge probe into New York City's massive Medicaid program. It's kind of amazing. I'm going to go to Dr. Oz. You're going to hear from him. Suddenly everybody has become a hospice worker or home care worker. Well, again, Dr. Oz says it best. Watch.
Techniques that we're using in Minnesota can be applied in other states, but it's the fraud, however, that will drive that. And so there are some states, I mentioned Florida, that's a red state where there's a big fraud problem in the southern part. They're trying to get their arms around it. We've sent a letter to Minnesota, which has a Republican senator. We're very concerned about New York, where the single most prominent job in New York is a personal care service. Retail is not the top job in New York anymore. And so in California, there are more hospices, I believe, in Los Angeles County alone than the rest of the country. So these are aberrancies that are hard for the states sometimes to see, but your first inclination, if you're the vice president and you're running a task force, is to look at those areas and say, how can you ignore that kind of a discrepancy, especially when there's been a massive uptick in some of these services in a short period of time?
Great. We'll take just one more question here, sir.
Pretty amazing. Okay, so Kathy Hochul's got to get a little bit nervous right about now. I imagine Mamdani is too. Oh gosh, he wants to spend all kinds of money. Well, I mean, look, the problem we have with you guys spending all of our hard-earned money is that it's going to fraudsters, for goodness sakes. Yeah, that's what we've discovered. $19 billion in the state of Minnesota, possibly $80 billion in California. You're talking about fraud in Ohio. You're talking about fraud in Maine, fraud in New York, fraud in Massachusetts. Besant is now running a program, a whistleblower program, so that they all tattle on one another.
We will find out who's done this. We are going to put in effect a whistleblower program. And my sense is that the rats will turn on each other. Like it's like the scorpion. It's in their nature.
Ouch. So, New York, get ready for some probes. Ilhan's already dealing with them. Ilhan Omar is under investigation. Well, I think they might want to consider her alliances and allegiances and whether or not she's really loyal to the United States, because I think we have every reason to be concerned about possible traitors within. But this may all relate back together, because if they're able to prove out that somehow the money that she was possibly allegedly getting for these fraudsters via the $250 million Feeding Our Future program, if any of that money was going back to terror organizations, and that's what the thought is, right? Because it was going through the Hawala system, and Hawala always takes its cut. The terror team always takes its cut. So Treasury is looking at how much of that was going overseas to these terror organizations. And if it turns out the biggest funder of Al-Shabaab, the terror organization in Somalia, is actually the Minnesota taxpayer and the U.S. taxpayer, we're going to have some problems. And you know what, Ilhan Omar, you're going to have some problems, because the question is whether or not you and Mr. Timmy are clean or not. I do realize she thinks that somehow anytime we say any of this is just because of who she is and the color of her skin. I'm here to tell her it's not. We don't tolerate fraud of any kind from anyone, period, end of story. And don't tell me that I can't do this story just because you are from Somalia. I'm not having it.
There is a lot of hate in this country for Muslims. There's a lot of hate in this country for Black people, especially Black women. And there is a lot of hate, severe hate for immigrants. And so I fit them all.
Thank you. Is the audio back? Hope it wasn't gone too long. Robbie Vincent, thank you for flagging that. Good. Aunt Candy says audio is fine. So glad we have it. Anyway, look, Ilhan Omar, and I was saying something really good. I was like, I'm not having it because she seems to think that just because of the color of her skin and because she's Somalian, that she's in a protected class. No, anybody who committed fraud, I'm sorry, you're not in a protected class. And right now, if you came here and you were naturalized as an American citizen and you committed fraud, you're definitely not in a protected class. In fact, Representative Emmer is making it his business to make sure you get out of that protection and that you're denaturalized and deported.
We're expanding and clarifying existing law to include anyone who comes to this country and defrauds the generosity of Americans and our government. And in this case, you know, the Feeding Our Future scandal is one of the many in Minnesota, but that's the largest pandemic fraud case in the country. It was $250 million. Over 90 people were charged, and 85 of them are from the Somali community. If you come to this country, and I understand that in Somalia, you got to lie, cheat, and steal just to survive. But if you come to this country and you continue to lie, cheat, and steal, you should not be allowed to maintain your citizenship. You should be denaturalized and shipped back to where you came from. And by the way, that would include marriage fraud.
Woo! Thank you, Candy, for updating me on the audio. We apparently did not have an issue, so that's good to hear. Anyway, whoa, right? That would include marriage fraud. So this is the third hubby that you're looking at on screen, Timmy Minette. And, you know, I think that she's going to have problems with a few of these guys. Number two, there may be some problems with. And then number three, there may be some problems with, well, because he's got a lot of problems. Okay, we're talking a lot of problems, including the fact that he got paid by his wife so darn much money as the campaign manager, $2.8 million during the 2020 campaign cycle. That was after they got married. You see, before they got married, she was a little bit cheap. He only got $873,000 between 2018 and 2020. But what do you know? As soon as they were married, whoo-hoo, she's raking it in, $2.8 million. I mean, this is just wrong, guys. Like, it's just so flat out wrong. I can't even begin to tell you how wrong it is. And they were looking into her on this last time around with the Biden administration. New York Times did a big story on this recently saying, hey, you know what? It all began under the Biden administration. They started examining her finances. She's already been accused of money laundering now in the here and present by many people who believe there was some funny stuff going on with Feeding Our Future and her husband's venture capital firm that really is not a venture capital firm. There's no way this thing is a venture capital firm. I was looking at it and I know what a venture capital firm is. I was reading it and I've told you this before. If you just look at the website here, we'll go to it. Take a look at the website. He claims he's had $60 billion assets under management. You know what, okay? Like there's no way this guy has that much money under management. That would make him one of the largest funds in the world, okay? Like that's not the case. Here is his partnerships for global operators. Now, what do you think that is? Is that a partnership with Feeding Our Future? That doesn't sound like a venture capital firm to me. No, not at all. And keep in mind, let me see if we can put this graphic on the screen without totally covering my face. If you're listening to the audio version, thank you. But you should check out the full video version. We're on Spotify and we are on YouTube every day. Ilhan under investigation because you know what? She may be possibly laundering money with her husband's help. After all, as I said, he's got a sketchy past. He apparently misrepresented himself to a wine investor. He told the wine investor that the wine investor would make 200% returns on a $300,000 investment, returns that never materialized. By the way, anytime somebody says that, like, look at it with such skepticism. I mean, here I am saying, well, you know, 76 research, we did, by the way. And we are like legit, and we actually publish our reports every single month, and we're not invested. We never take any of your money other than the fee that you pay for the research. Okay. But yeah, we did have a stock. Oh, where is that? Let me show you back on screen. We did have a stock that was up 139%. So here, I'm about to tell you, nobody can ever tell you they're going to make you 200%. And I'm not going to promise you I'm ever going to make you that much, but I am darn proud. Okay, because Rob and I put a lot of effort into picking these stocks. And so I'm like, woo, we're up 139% with our top pick in materials over the last 12 months. That's not bad. All of the portfolios are beating the S&P quite handily this year. So again, go check them out at 76 Portfolios or 76research.com. Anyway, I digress. Usually I like to tell you nobody should offer. I will say this, you should not be giving somebody your money and expect a return like that. I mean, that was really pretty aggressive marketing on Timmy Mynett's part.
Okay, the first one from Trish. I got 3 short ones, and I got a 26-1-minute on Texas fraud. People in Texas. Let's see here. This is funny. Kennedy again.
I don't know, a lot. I have a new one coming out in January about the Justice Department. I hope that'll sell a lot too, but I don't know the numbers.
You enjoy attention, don't you, Mr. Comey?
I do not. I enjoy attention from my family. I do not enjoy being recognized in public and my B-list celebrity fame, which I hope will go away very soon.
Well, I'll give you this. You have been an equal opportunity egotist. You have tried to screw both Trump and Clinton. Let's talk about Clinton first. When you were head of the FBI, you investigated Secretary Clinton and her emails and her server, did you not?
The FBI team did while I was director, yes.
And you concluded that there were no criminal violations, did you not?
There were no violations that a reasonable prosecutor would pursue.
But you didn't just issue a statement. You called a press conference. And you commented on her behavior. You said she was extremely careless, but in your opinion, there was no criminal intent. What were you thinking of? I mean, this is the Democratic nominee for president of the United States. Didn't you realize that could have an impact on the investigation?
Investigation was ending at that point when I issued the summary of what we had concluded.
Sorry, I misspoke. Didn't you realize that could have an impact on the election?
Oh, potentially, sure. And I was trying to offer...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was trying to offer transparency about the justification for ending an investigation of intense interest to the American people in July 5th of 2016.
Well, you gave us a full dose of transparency. 11 days before the election, you sent a letter to Congress saying, never mind what I said in my press conference, my unprecedented press conference. I'm going to reopen the investigation, didn't you?
Correct. I didn't say what you just said in the letter, but I told the chairs of the committees we were reopening the investigation to examine some additional material.
And then a few days later, right before the election, you said, never mind. She didn't do anything.
No, I said the examination was completed and it doesn't change.
How's your...
Okay, new guy at TikTok was covering that. Anybody catch that 2-clip part on Roseanne on TikTok?
about Epstein's connection to celebrities, and it is way worse than anyone expected. She is claiming powerful celebrities didn't just know what was going on around Jeffrey Epstein. They allegedly offered their own kids to him to climb the fame ladder. And this is not vague tea. Roseanne is pointing fingers at reality TV royalty, billionaire power brokers, and industry darlings who built entire empires while quietly feeding their children into Epstein's circle. We are talking Kris Jenner. We are talking Steve Tisch. We are talking parents who allegedly treated their kids like currency just to stay invited in rooms run by Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But it gets worse, because Roseanne says this didn't just happen to Hollywood insiders' kids, it allegedly happened to child stars we watched grow up in real time. And once you hear how deep this rabbit hole goes, you'll understand why Roseanne was never supposed to be believed. Let's get into it. Okay, so it looks like we finally know why Hollywood has been trying to convince us that Roseanne is crazy, because the things she has to spill, girl, they are crazy. Now, to be fair, at the time, it was quite easy to believe that Roseanne might be a conspiracy theorist because the things she tried to expose were nothing short of wild. For example, many years ago, she exposed some of the Hollywood elite for eating babies. At the time, that was wild because it was simply insane to imagine that some of our favorite celebrities were out here eating children. Y'all, Roseanne Barr just exposed the crazy by the people she was trying to expose. Well, fast forward a couple of years, and the recently released Epstein files just confirmed that Roseanne was right about how some elites were out here eating babies. And in one email, he even compared babies to shrimp, saying, "They're like shrimp. You throw away the head, keep the body." In yet another email, he claimed that babies tasted like cream cheese. In the email with the subject line, "Cream cheese baby," Epstein wrote, "There are millions of babies. Very little good vegetable cream cheese," referring to vegetable cream cheese. He was responding to a redacted sender who wrote, "Lol, I don't know if cream cheese and baby are on the same level." Oh, and there's this video of celebrity neuroscientist Sam Harris, where he seemed genuinely confused as to why they weren't allowed to eat babies.
You know, why can't we eat babies? What's wrong with eating babies? If we've got extra babies around that nobody wants, why can't we eat them, right?
Yeah, we owe Roseanne Barr an apology because she was right all along. And now that she has been proven right, she has more tea to spill. According to her, the rabbit hole goes way deeper than we think we know. See, according to her, even though a lot of celebs knew the dark and shady part about what was going on in the Epstein circle, they still pushed their kids to him so they could rub shoulders with the rich and famous so they could become rich and famous. And to nobody's surprise, Kris Jenner and her daughters were at the very top of the list. This was quite expected, especially since Kanye West has been calling Kris out for trying to pimp out his daughter North. Even she knew that her claims sounded ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought when I saw that, I thought that was an important one to share. Okay, we got some Texas fraud coming up for 26.
Businesses set up in people's homes, which isn't a problem in and of itself, but there were no workers at the work site where they were supposed to be. But it's not just that. We also noticed some strange occurrences in some of the data that we were compiling. So I thought, hey, why not check out these work locations as well? I'm actually standing right here outside of Blaze TV studios, and turns out they are so close, we can just walk there. So we're gonna go do that right now. Here we are, and you know, in looking into some of these companies, I think there may be more than meets the eye. Why not check in and see what we find? This one is Tech Bits on the LCA. We've got 2 2025 workers on site. Okay, it's locked. I don't think anyone is here at Tech Bits. All right, Unique Software Solutions have 4 H-1B visas. Let's see
This
if
is
anyone's
good.
home. Another locked door. Okay, we're looking for suite 264. We've done several labs. I don't see a 264. This way. Back where we just were. There appears not to be a suite 264. Can't find suite 264. Oak Technologies lists suite 264 as their HQ. Are we like in Harry Potter world? Are we on platform 9 3/4? I don't understand where is this office? The way these tech companies get away with it is they blend in. There are actual companies who sponsor visas and contract out workers, so the scammers just hide amongst the crowd. Hello? So we were just doing some checks to see if we could get a copy of your LCAs.
May I see your ID or something?
Yes. So this is actually from the U.S. Department of Labor. So we're just asking for the public access files.
Oh, public access, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Which ones you need?
Just all of them.
Okay, they're all here. So
Great.
I'm not sure. These are the recent ones, if you're looking for that.
Yeah.
This is the one from the recent times.
Okay. But I appreciate y'all's time.
What's your name again?
Sarah.
Nice meeting you, ma'am.
Yes, nice meeting you. Sorry, my hands are freezing. All right, we went in, we asked them the question, they showed us what we needed to see, and everything was fine. So let's move on. The reason we can just go around to these various companies and ask to see their paperwork is because it's the law. Let me introduce you to the U.S. Department of Labor fact sheet number 62F. It says, an H-1B employer's public access records must be maintained and made available under the H-1B program. They must be available within 1 working day of filing the LCA. Any member of the public requesting access to the documents must be allowed to capture the information through such means as transcription, scanning, or taking photographs, for example. So we've been taking advantage of that to go in and do some auditing. But that only works if the company actually exists or is at these offices, which I quickly found out is a major flaw in the system. So A&A Info Systems is supposed to be at Suite 275. They brought in multiple 2025 workers that are supposed to be on site. 7 H-1Bs were approved in 2025 for this company. And we're here at Suite 275 and there's nobody here. But if you are looking for an office space to rent, I do have one for you. So curiously enough, we went looking for Oak Technologies in the previous building. It wasn't there. We couldn't find the suite. It was a missing suite. But we went to their website and it turns out they list this building as their new address here at Suite 130. But there's a different company that's here that also happens to be on our list. Oh, there ain't nobody in there, and there's a fucking card table set up again. Super strange that a technology company, no, I'm sorry, 2 technology companies have just a spare room. Where are the computers? Where are the servers? Where's the technology that's happening here? Most importantly, where are the workers? Okay, here is Suite 175. Now, they had 21 H-1B visas in 2025, and we do have the records that show that they should have workers on site at this location. What do you know? Another locked door. Lights are out, nobody's home. We do have the peephole again. Let's check it out. I don't understand. All these tech companies, they have tech in their name. No technology to be found, just a bunch of card tables. So I would say the only winner here are the card table manufacturers. Clearly, they're being bought and placed right in these empty rooms. Oh, we found Oak Technologies. It's not the same suite number that's listed on the address, but here it is. What a recurring theme. The funny thing is, if there were actually workers here, they'd probably enjoy themselves because there's a ping pong table that's not even being used. Nice little tables, break room, but there's no one here to actually take a break. Just came over just a little ways away, 100 East Royal Lane. We've got companies that sponsor H-1Bs here. Let's head in. All right, TechPath Inc., Suite T145, 100 East Royal Lane. This one is curious because it's Texas business license lapsed. They actually forfeited their right to transact business in the state of Texas, but they still posted an LCA in 2025. You're going to be shocked to hear there's nobody here. Lights are off, doors locked, same song and dance. All right, quick walk over to our next company, Multi-Edge T155. I don't even have to try the door. I already know it's locked, no lights on. Oh, but they are a big fan of Mac and Apple. I do notice that. Let's see what's going on up here. One of the things we're noticing as we dig through all of this data, the issue isn't just multiple people working out of one location, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But what we're seeing is multiple businesses opening out of a single location and then sponsoring visas. Now, we're calling these hives, multiple companies listing the same address on their paperwork. For example, in this one office, 400 East Royal Lane, Suite 290, we found at least 19 companies so far that use this single suite all at the same time. Either they're listing it as their business address, or they're saying that they have workers there present at that worksite location. In fact, I'm going to list on the screen for you right now all of the companies that overlap with one another sharing this office space. It's very questionable. These suites are pretty tiny. Now, this hive seems to have died off, but in our research, we discovered another active one nearby. Some of the companies from Suite 290 actually ended up here at 320 Decker Drive, Suite 100, same situation, multiple different companies operating out of one single suite. Let's check it out. This is 320 Decker Drive, Suite 100. Okay, but there's other suites within here. Okay, but all of these companies that I listed, never heard of.
Okay, so this one is a virtual office, so they don't have an actual office.
Okay.
They were here, they're not here, and they were here, they're not here.
They're not here anymore.
One of those are here.
Okay, what about IT apps?
No.
Okay, very strange. Why are all of these companies listing a suite when the companies clearly don't exist here? It's an address to an entire building. They say they've never heard of any of these companies, and the companies that they have heard of never come in. We'd never see these people. They have no physical presence at this location. Very strange. If you still want to argue, oh, there's no fraud, there's nothing wrong here, you don't have to listen to what I have to say. Ask the Department of Justice. 2 Texas residents operating a visa racket indicted for visa fraud, money laundering, and RICO conspiracy. This was their alleged scheme.
We got 15 on this one left. I think this is real important. I think this lady's good.
They exploited the EB-2, EB-3, and H-1B visa programs, placed ads for non-existent jobs, and then filed for the visas with USCIS. According to the indictment, to make the non-existent jobs look legit, these scammers received payments from the visa seekers and then returned a portion of the money back to them as payroll. Boom, fraud. An employer is not allowed to take a single cent from their employees because if they do it, it has real-world consequences. If convicted, the defendants face up to 20 years in federal prison. This company looked just like all the ones we visited today in an unassuming office building. Now, maybe all these companies that we visit aren't doing anything wrong, but then again, maybe they are. If you are committing a crime, we will find you and you will go to jail. There's another company we discovered in the area with some irregularities. This is Innovative Datalytics Group, LLC, located at 8105 Razor Boulevard in Plano. They've got at least 7 H-1B workers who should be working on site. Let's check it out. Oh, Office Reimagined. That's one way to put it. So Innovative Datalytics stood out because it had no website, which is weird for a company with a bunch of software engineers here on H-1B visas. The visa paperwork listed the company in Suite 78, so we went looking for it, but couldn't seem to find that suite number in the entire building until... I think we found Suite 78 right here, pretty cramped quarters for 7 workers, wouldn't you say? So seeing as we couldn't get the public access files from the business location, we tracked down the owner and went to go speak with her at her home. Hi, I was looking for Uma Devi. Speaking. Oh, that's you? Yeah. Oh, great. Do you own Innovative Datalytics Group? Yes. Great. So I know you have some H-1B workers here with LCAs. Where are the workers located?
They're in the office actually, so I'm not sure about the residential address you're asking about.
Where's the office located?
The office, my husband is actually taking care of those details.
The Razor Boulevard, Suite 78?
I don't know.
So it's Suite 78?
I don't know the exact address. I can check with him.
Well, it's interesting because we already checked and that suite is actually just a mailbox. So are the workers located in the mailbox?
No, not.
So where are all the workers?
I'm not sure. That's why I have.
Well, you own the company. You're registered to the state of Texas.
I know, ma'am.
Okay.
What you're saying. I have already before also. Currently, I am still on my job, so my husband is taking care of those details for now, and we have rented the space with another company too. So both the companies, so both of them were actually using the same kind of space, like a co-space thing.
Yeah. At the Caddo business, Caddo location, Caddo offices.
I'm not sure about those details. I can. Do you mind? Would you like to talk to my husband?
Is he here?
He's not here. I can give him a call and then maybe you talk to him.
Oh yeah. We can give him a call. Okay, great. The first business owner I've seen that has no idea about her own business.
He's currently not lifting the phone. I texted him too. So what is my other alternative now?
Well, I mean, so you are the owner and you're the registered agent for the business and you have no idea about it because you're working at a different company now?
No, the reason is that, so I have told earlier also, my husband has been helping me out currently in setting up that one and everything. So he spoke to the candidates, he went to the India and then he did everything. And then he came back and then him and another company actually. So both of them co-leased the space and then they were.
What's the other company?
I don't know the details. That's why I wanted to know the details with him. So yeah, that's what was happening. So I don't know where the workers are staying.
You have no idea where the workers are.
Yeah, where their residential addresses are. They might be on the file, but I haven't gone through that.
Well, it's not. But I was just looking for the office space.
The office space was listed there, right? No, it wasn't there.
At 8105 Razor Boulevard.
I think that's. I don't know the exact location.
The co-working space.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just having trouble finding it.
Maybe
any of the workers. Do you have the public access files for us to review?
Right now?
Yeah.
I don't keep them at home, so
where do you keep them? That's the whole thing. Where is anything? Where do you keep them at? The office that you don't know the address of?
Address that I'm not sure where the office is currently right now. I'm sure he has it at the office locations and the cabinets or something like that. But I'll have to wait for him to get back.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
So otherwise you
have absolutely no information about the company that you're listed on, which, by the way, did you know that you have forfeited your right to transact business in the state of Texas?
Ma'am, so what you're asking me on the details, I do understand all of that. So I know what we are going to work on. I know what the workers are going to work on. And I know that he has gone and that he has interviewed. And then I know they are in the process of starting the work and all that. So I haven't gotten the complete details yet. He has been busy. I already have 2 kids. And so our plan was to one of us can take over the business. So we want to establish that before I gave up. Before I move on to this job, and then give a notice to my existing job.
So why not your husband be listed on all of the state forms?
I'm the one interested in this one. He's not interested in this at all. So I wanted to start something, and then that's why I have picked this up. So he's in the meantime helping me out because I have other things to take care of as well.
What does Innovative Datalytics Group do?
Innovative Datalytics Group also does provide the software products based on the client needs and everything.
Okay.
Thanks, Shay.
And do you guys have a website?
that we are working on, but it's not active yet currently.
Got 9 minutes.
I see. But you brought in H-1Bs and had the LCAs in 2024. It's now 2026 and you still haven't even gotten a website up. So how come the workers are here if you don't have anything up yet?
I don't know, and I'm not even sure the workers are here. That's what I was telling. The process is going on. I know the H-1B process is going on, but I'm not sure if it has been approved or accepted or they are already here or not. So that if they are already here, maybe I would have been informed by my husband that yes, they might have already been here.
Okay. Hi, are you Arvin? Yeah, is it? Hi. I just was curious about your company, Innovative Datalytics.
Okay.
Where are all of the H-1B workers?
But they never came.
They never came.
Yeah, we didn't. We were trying to acquire a software company called Geotech. We're doing some Informatica. It didn't happen, so we applied for this, and then nothing's happening there. So it's just nobody is here. We had my attorney responding that. I think. Who are you? Are you representing USCIS?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not.
Yeah, no, I'm independent. We're just doing an investigation of the H-1Bs in this area and the LCAs. And there were a bunch of LCAs that showed Innovative Datalytics Group.
Yes, we did.
Office location.
2024 years.
Okay.
Nobody came.
Nobody came.
Yeah, we never had the funding to pursue that.
I see.
The deal failed, so we are just assessing. It's like dormant right now.
I see. Okay. Well, you're still listed. I mean, you listed on all of the paperwork at the Razor Boulevard.
Yes.
Address.
We're still paying them money. That is another $300 which we're spending, but
I see.
Still there. Yeah, but it's fully dormant.
Yeah.
Maybe nobody traveled or anything.
Okay. Well, what was weird about it was that it said Suite 78, which there is no Suite 78 in there on all of the paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We need to check that.
Yeah, Suite 78 is actually, it's just a mailbox.
Okay.
So was it always that one? Hey!
No, it was not always that way, but we kind of, to cost save, we kind of dropped that because there's no employee, there's nothing happening.
I see.
We kept hold on to the overall.
Was there ever like a suite, an office location?
It was there.
It was. Do you recall what suite it was?
No, I don't. I mean, we had it with a few others. It was like a group of people who were trying to do something, acquiring this company and all, but nothing happened.
Okay.
You have the public access forms? No.
What is public access form?
So the public access forms are for H-1B employers must make the following materials available to the public. So the LCA, the rate of the pay,
all of
and
that
all
will
of
be
that.
part of that only package, right? They'll be doing it. Yeah. We'll be focusing on that. We have attorneys to do that, so we would not know.
So you're saying there's no workers here at all?
Oh no, they never came.
Okay.
Zero.
Okay.
Why did you need to bring in H1 workers for it? Like why? Like were there no like US workers available for this company?
We might have checked that angle also.
What was it? A software engineer, if I recall.
Trying to find them.
Yeah, bunch of it. I mean, if you understand the software development life cycle, there are different types of database, UI.
Sure. Yeah, I just know there are a lot of displaced American IT workers who can't find a job but have the skill set. So.
But we were not even hiring. We didn't post it. We were just looking for how we're gonna ramp up if we have to acquire the company.
But there were 7 H1s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't come, right? We didn't bring anybody here.
Yeah, well, that's what we're just like looking into. So
yeah.
We're just wondering like where they are, if the H1s were approved, like where they are.
They just never came.
They never came.
It's just a lot of paperwork and fees to file and go through all of that.
Yeah, that's the investment we did. But yeah.
Okay. That your wife mentioned that there was a partner that you guys were working out of the same space or whatever.
No.
There's no partner. You weren't like sharing a suite together or anything.
Oh no. We were just bootstrapping it into our account. Just that we're trying to expand, try to put money, save money.
Is there some confusion on what actually was taking place.
At first, you want to believe the story, right? We just went through this very laborious legal process to get 7 H-1B workers approved, only for them to never come. But the story is just a little funny when you compare their comments back to back. Uma Devi, who is the legal owner and director of the company, and her husband, Arvind, who apparently is taking care of every single detail of it for her.
So where are the workers located?
They're in the office actually, so I'm not sure but
Where are all of the H-1B workers?
But they never came.
So I don't know where the workers are staying.
You have no idea where the workers
I
are.
have no idea where their residential addresses are. They might be on the file, but I haven't gone through that.
So you're saying there's no workers here at all?
Oh no, they never came.
Okay.
Zero.
Okay.
And there are discrepancies when it comes to the office space.
And we have rented the space with another company too. So both the companies, so both of them are using the same kind of space, like a co-space thing.
That your wife mentioned that there was a partner that you guys were working out of the same space or whatever.
No, like that.
There's no partner. You weren't like sharing a suite together or anything.
Oh no.
So he spoke to the candidates. We went to the India, and then he did everything, and then he came back, and then him and another company actually. So both of them co-leased the space.
But he didn't even realize he contradicted himself in the same conversation.
Do you recall what suite it was?
No, I don't. We had it with few others. It was like a group of people who were trying to do something.
The funny thing about all these public access files is that a business has to maintain them, even if their employees apparently never even come. They have to be created the day after filing an LCA and kept for a year after the visa is up or the employee is terminated. So Arvind said the attorney had the public access files.
All of that will be part of that only package, right? They'll be doing it. Yeah.
So we reached out to the attorney, who assured us that it's the business owner who maintains them.
What is public access law?
And then poof, all of a sudden they materialized. Wouldn't you know? So we met up to go through them. Curious things still in these public access files. Despite the conversations, they still insist the workers were working in Suite 78. We even asked her about it while we were going through the files with her.
Yeah, I just have another quick question on that same page. It says that the employment will take place at 8105 Razor, Suite 78. Can you tell me where Suite 78 is?
I'll get back to you on the names.
Okay.
She was also missing one of the public access files, which we then asked for.
I know you filed 8 LCAs too, but there's only 7 public access files.
There were 7 on there.
There were 8 LCAs filed.
Where did you get the 8 LCAs?
It's not over.
Check my notes.
Did I miss one? Yeah, I think I missed the last one. Okay, I'll email you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're going to be shocked to hear she never sent it to us. These people are legally required to maintain their public access files,
What is public access law?
even after the employment ends for a period of time. But here's the thing. These files are they're just basic, a couple of Word documents. There's nothing stopping these people from just writing them up and printing them off whenever they get requested. Ultimately, this checks and balances system is severely broken. We have no way to tell if he's telling the truth, that the workers never came. That information isn't made public, only how many visas he was approved for. But there are enough holes in the story here that we wanted to show how easy it is for companies to just get approved for visa workers, only for them to just vanish into thin air. They could literally be anywhere right now. We have no idea. Again, I need your help rooting out fraud. Please do your own investigations. Go to these sketchy companies, ask them for their public access files. And if you find anything suspicious, email me at sarahtips@blazemedia.com. Oh, and one more housekeeping note. H-1B registration opened on March 4th, so think twice before trying to defraud the system. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see the video that started it.
Okay, yeah. I gave Kay the link to her. I'll keep an eye out on her videos. I got some short ones, and then I got another couple more 15-minute ones.
and Attorney General Ellison, you have presided over one of the worst government fraud scandals in American history. This was money intended to feed hungry children, help kids with autism, provide food and shelter and healthcare to the needy, and more. You both allowed billions in these American taxpayer dollars to be pillaged and plundered by Somali pirates. You knew this was happening. You chose to do nothing about it, and in some cases, you even enabled it. Attorney General Ellison, you even profited from this fraud by taking campaign donations from these Somalians after pledging to help quash the investigation into them. I find your behavior despicable. My questions this morning, my first go to Governor Walz, and I hope you learned some lessons from your last hearing with me on the Oversight Committee. Have you learned anything
I
since
did,
then?
that if I didn't speak up, 2 of my people would be dead, Congresswoman, and I warned you.
Okay, Miss Governor Walz, what is a woman? Have you learned that lesson? Do you know what a woman is?
I'm the governor of Minnesota, Congresswoman.
you know what a
I'm not
woman
here
is?
to be your prop for your obsession.
So
I
if you
taught middle
can't
school your
define what a
obsession.
woman is, you certainly can't define what fraud is. If you can't even define what a woman is, you can't define fraud. How much money was spent on autism in Minnesota in 2017, Governor?
I don't have those numbers in front of me, Congresswoman.
Did you prepare for this hearing today? Did you
I
do
did.
any
I
preparation
take
for this hearing
Congress
today?
seriously.
And you've seen the numbers about autism fraud in Minnesota. So we're going to do some Minnesota math with you today, okay? Are you ready? How much money was spent on 2017 for autism in Minnesota? How much?
I don't know. I wasn't the governor.
Okay. Did you not just say that you prepared for this hearing today? $1 million, okay? A quick Google search or using your AI could tell you $1 million was spent. How much money was spent on autism in Minnesota in 2024?
I don't have the number in front of me. As
Were you governor in 2024?
I was, but I'm not the
Okay,
head
so
of
your
HHS.
excuse before that you didn't know what 2017 autism numbers were because you were not governor, and today you can't answer the numbers about 2024 as governor, and you still said you prepared for this hearing today. It's unbelievable. $343 million was spent in 2024. What percent increase is that from 1 million to 343 million? What percentage increase is that?
I'm not here to be your prop. Go ahead and tell me.
Are you governor of Minnesota or not?
Yes, I am. I'm
Okay,
not.
well,
I'm
when
not
I'm
a prop
governor of
for a
South
member of
Carolina,
Congress.
you can sure as hell bet that I'm going to know the math. The math is 34,200% increase, an increase of 343 times what it was in this time period. Do you know the number of children in Minnesota?
I know that Minnesota ranked as a top 3 state for
What
children
is the
in the
total
last year.
population in Minnesota?
5.7 million.
Okay. What is the total population of children in Minnesota?
I don't have the number in front of me right
Are
now.
you governor of Minnesota?
I know 400,000 were cut out of health care last
Okay,
week by
that's
the
not-
actions you made.
Are you governor of Minnesota?
I am.
And you don't know the number of children
I
residing
don't have
in
the
Minnesota?
specific number. It's 5.7 million.
That's your total
What is your age?
population.
What is the age?
1.2
0 to 5? 0 to
You
19?
have approximately 1.2 million children in Minnesota.
What
I'm not
age?
even governor of South Carolina. Our population in South Carolina is 5.5 million. We have approximately 1.1 million children under the age of 18 in my home state of South Carolina, okay? As governor, I expect you to know this information. Thank God you're not vice president of the United States. Do you know approximately how many children in
going at it.
Minnesota are autistic or on the spectrum?
No, I don't have that number.
Okay. Well, if you take the CDC's roughly 1 in 36 kids are on the spectrum, we're talking about approximately 33,000 kids. In South Carolina, it's about 31,000 or so. What is, do you know what this is per child, spending wise, in the fraud for autistic kids in Minnesota?
He doesn't have
Again,
it.
I'm not here to be your prop. Go ahead and tell us.
This isn't, is doing Minnesota math a prop? This is math. We're talking about fraud.
Minnesota ranks at the top. Where does South Carolina rank?
We're talking about money.
Where does
that
South
was
Carolina
supposed
children
to-
rank
this
on
is-
healthiness?
These are my questions for you. It doesn't go the other way around unless we're debating on the debate stage. And we're not.
If you're asking
This
questions
is-
about being governor,
I'm
it does.
asking you
When you're
questions
governor, you
about
can
being
come and
governor
tell
of
me.
Minnesota, which you can't answer. This is basic math. And you can't even answer.
not
Do you
here to
even
be your
care
prop.
about kids in Minnesota?
They rank near
Do
the
you
top
care?
in every category. My children are
Do you
fed. My
care about
children are
autistic
housed. My children
children
have
getting
health
the
care.
services they need in
My
Minnesota?
children have the best
No,
schools.
you don't. Mr. Chairman, I yield back. Mr.
She really got him that time again. Okay, see what we got next. About 6 minutes, I think, on this one.
Iran. I demand to speak with President Trump immediately. Who is it? It's the supreme leader of Iran. Let me talk to him. No, I want to talk to him. Nah, I want to talk to him. Tell your boss to back off now, or he will face the consequences. You can tell him yourself, dude. Good luck. Ayatollah. Ha, you old goat-bearded tyrant. What crawled up your turban and died? Back off now, Trump, or else. Or else what?
3 minutes.
You ain't gonna do nothing, bitch. He's right. You ain't gonna do shit. Not a goddamn thing. Your regime's been funding terrorists and attacking our allies. Oh, no, he didn't. You've been enriching uranium like it's going out of style. Not for long. And your little debt to America chance? That ends today. Kaboom! Withdraw your forces from the Gulf. Lift the sanctions choking our economy and cease your Zionist alliances. How about you go f yourself? Iran will not bow. Our missiles are ready and our people united against your imperialism. Okay, you desert-dwelling despot. First, take a big step back and literally dump sand up your own ass. Now, I don't know what kind of camel-riding conquest you're scheming over there, but the Middle East, that's my sandbox now, buddy. So whatever nuclear nonsense you're plotting, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm gonna fly Marco Rubio over there to run your whole fucking country. Kaboom! I'll unleash a biblical fucking apocalypse upon you. You're gonna need to beg the United Nations for an ironclad ceasefire to stop me from fucking obliterating you. I'm talking total wipeout, motherfucker. I will pulverize you. I will trump you up. Oh, yeah. You think you can mess with our ships, launch rockets at Israel, and sabotage oil tankers without payback? Kaboom! I've got the best military, the strongest economy. Your oil's worthless now with my energy dominance. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Back off our bases. Stop your proxy wars in Yemen and Syria, or I'll make your Islamic revolution look like a Maxine Waters makeup tutorial. Kaboom! And forget about that nuke deal Obama handed you on a silver platter. It's shredded. Oh! You're done bullying the region. You're done, bitch. So crawl back to Tehran and think about how you're going to explain to your people why their economy's in the toilet because of you. You infidel. This is an outrage. Outrage? I'll show you outrage. Hang up the phone before I add more terrorists that'll make your pistachios unsellable, you lace curtain motherfucker. Kaboom! You understand me? Hello? Well, that's that. Nobody messes with America on my watch. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this charcoal compound and the endlessness that you feel. Thanks for.
Hey, that was a humor one, I guess. You call it. I got one more though. This one is 6 minutes.
Let's be honest, you never do.
I did do my research, Congresswoman. That's actually why I brought it up. On the topic of things that are difficult to explain, Congresswoman, there have been longstanding questions about your personal life, specifically whether you married your own brother for immigration purposes. Is that true?
Okay, this has been debunked thoroughly. It is a racist, it is rooted in the idea that, look, people from my culture have naming conventions that Americans don't, and that you wouldn't necessarily.
She's blaming the alphabet now, Tucker. The names are the problem, not the tax returns filed jointly, not the same address, not the, and by the way, I just got off the phone with people who've looked into this very strongly, very smart people. And they said, sir, the paperwork is not good. And I said, I know, everybody knows. She had this whole beautiful scam running. And the only reason anyone found out is because somebody checked a box on TurboTax. Very sloppy.
The living arrangement was purely for, there were financial reasons that had nothing to do with it. I mean, families share addresses all the time. That doesn't mean.
She's making it worse, Tucker. Every word she says adds a chapter to the book. Please keep going. I'm very confident the next sentence will be incredible.
You are a disgusting, xenophobic, cancerous.
And by the way, I have the best marriages. Everyone knows it. Multiple, tremendous marriages. But I've never once married a sibling, not once. And I feel like that's a low bar that most people clear without effort. Probably the lowest bar in the history of bars. But here we are, folks.
It's none of your business.
Well, it became the public's business when it allegedly involved immigration fraud, Congresswoman. That's just how law works. I mean, come on, you know that.
Those records were okay. Look, I voluntarily there was an investigation and it was resolved. Okay, it was handled.
It was handled. She sounds like a mob lawyer, Tucker. Very legal, very cool. Nobody loves handling things quietly as much as Ilhan does. I know her very well, or as I like to call her, the Congresswoman from Fraudasota.
You told me, a United States Congresswoman, to quote, go back to where you came from. That is textbook racism.
Incorrect. I said, if you hate it here so much, maybe go fix the place you came from first, then come back and show us how it's done. It was a suggestion, a very generous suggestion, like a Yelp review, constructive, 5 stars for effort, 1 star for execution.
I am an American citizen. I have, I took an oath. I serve in the United States Congress.
Who spends every waking minute telling America how terrible it is. You came here as a refugee. This country took you in, gave you safety, gave you an education, gave you a seat in Congress, and your thank you card was a list of complaints longer than a CVS receipt. Nobody reads those, by the way, nobody. And I'm very upset about it, actually. Not happy about it.
So my family, we came here fleeing a civil war. We lived in a refugee camp for 4 years. 4 years. And you don't get to tell me about gratitude. I mean, the audacity. You were born into, you've never struggled a day in your life.
And America gave you everything, everything. And the good news is I love this country enough to point out when somebody's trashing it full time from the inside. That's your favorite president looking out for America. You're welcome.
To be fair, Congresswoman, the optics of that have always been pretty difficult.
The optics, Tucker. You wouldn't know optics if it hit you. This whole show is a propaganda. You're literally sitting there carrying water for a dictator.
I'm asking you questions. You're choosing not to answer them. Those are different things. I mean, you know that.
Very different. She does this every time, Tucker. Somebody asks a question, and instead of answering, she just calls them a name. Extremely low IQ strategy. Hasn't worked once. Probably never will. But she keeps trying. And honestly, it's driving them crazy. They're nuts over there.
Well, speaking of composure, or the lack of it, Congresswoman, at the most recent State of the Union, while the president was honoring families of Americans killed by illegal immigrants, you stood up and screamed at him on camera during a joint session of Congress, actually.
He was, those families were being absolutely exploited. He was exploiting grief for political theater, and someone needed to say it.
I was reading their names. That's it. I was standing there very calmly, very presidentially, reading the names of dead Americans, and she started screaming murderer at me like I cut her off in traffic. Total meltdown. The whole country watched it. Nobody's ever seen anything like it, believe me.
Somebody had to say it. The Democrats were look, I was the only one willing to stand up and fight. You are disgusting.
Oh, she was the only one willing. Hear that, Tucker? She was the only one brave enough to scream at a memorial for dead people. Very courageous, tremendous bravery. They call her a congresswoman, but I call her a fire alarm with a pension.
That is a lie. You are a liar. The families, if you actually spoke to them, I mean, some of those families have said that.
Some of those families? Which ones? Name one. Go ahead, I'll wait. Very patient. Your favorite president is very patient.
Full quote.
Okay, that was another image one there.
A combat unit commander told non-commissioned officers at a briefing Monday that the Iran war is part of God's plan and that President Donald Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to earth. Saturday morning through Monday night, more than 110 similar complaints about commanders in every branch of the military has been logged by the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. The complaints came from more than 40 different units spread across at least 30 military installations. One complainant identified themselves as a non-commissioned officer, NCO, in a unit currently outside the Iran combat zone, but in ready support status. The NCO wrote to the MRFF that their commander urged us to tell our troops that this was all part of God's divine plan, and he specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelation referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. This is the email right here. Pause and read. I find this really concerning, especially when we're nowhere near Armageddon. That they are spreading this misinformation to our troops is disturbing. He definitely has an anointed a man that doesn't even show the fruits of the Spirit. Just makes you wonder who told these commanders to say this.
She does a good job with her clips.
Johnson for ignoring the young lady that was just speaking there, for speaking for the animals' rights. And let me continue here. I was watching one of your recent videos of you saying that you never told a lie. So you raised property taxes when you promised you wouldn't. You promised that crime would go down when it's not. Reports of crime is down though, but not crime within itself. I just want to let everybody know that crime itself is not down. Nobody voted for you to fund illegal migrants, Brandon Johnson. And we know this is happening because Melissa Hortman, a Democrat in Minnesota, voted against funding for illegal migrants. The only Democrat, by the way, and she was murdered for it. She was murdered actually by someone who was appointed by Tim Walz, sir. I just want you guys to think about that as well. So we know this is happening, which is the main reason why the president is withholding federal funds in Chicago, because he is afraid that you
are bad, you guys.
He's afraid that will fund illegal migrants. And honestly, I'm afraid that he will do that too. How are you going to allow 9 janitors to be fired when you have 150 police detail, and that costs you $22 million a year? You can't cut a few cops to save a few jobs? You mean to tell me your safety is that important, Brandon Johnson? Absolutely disgraceful. Instead, you want to hang out with a China-loving, dog-sucking communist like Hassan Piker. Why are you streaming, dude? People are out here dying. I'm serious. You was just on 79th, right? You saw 24 shots get let off. People are dying out here. You don't got time to stream. Do you understand that? And I'm being serious, dude. Absolutely disgraceful. You want to defund the police, and your executive order means nothing. You cannot hold federal agents accountable, bro. It's called supremacy clause. That means federal law is the highest law of the land, okay? The executive order that you signed, that was a waste of time and ink, if I'm being honest with you. So we are American patriots. We are Chicago patriots. How many people have to die because of your poor leadership? Watchdogs has recently found that we are actually $41.1 billion in debt. It's not even 1.5. So where is all the money going, Mr. Brandon Johnson? We want to know that. And I know it's Black History Month, ladies and gentlemen, but Brandon Johnson, you got to stop being racist, dude. Like, this is a problem, man. Everybody is people. We all shed red blood. First, I actually just want to apologize on behalf of Brandon Johnson for ignoring the young.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that one. What we got coming up next here? Three parts here.
Bite them, and it's biting hard. 2 massive investigations just dropped on Gavin Newsom and Tim Walz. And let me tell you, this could sink both of them faster than a lead balloon. So let's see how Tim Walz is handling for my dead body, huh? That's rich, considering DHS just rolled in with 2,000 agents on the ground. And guess what? That's only the opening act. I uncovered the owners of a Hilton property who refused to book a room for ICE agents in Minneapolis. And once you see the details, it'll make sense. Then Zohran Mamdani's team got put on notice by the Department of Justice over a video showing a member of his staff saying that white people will be penalized. Good luck, New York. You're cooked. And it gets even juicier. The 26-year-old who broke into the vice president's home, surprise, surprise, the family is a major Democratic donor. All that, plus a bonus clip of President Trump doing what he does best today, working the crowd. I love when he goes into storyteller mode. And this one, it had me laughing out loud. So, I had to share it. As always, hit that like button if you enjoy this. And welcome to all the newbies who've joined the channel. We're so happy to have you with us. And don't forget to smash that notification bell so you're not leaving the latest political chaos up to the algorithms. All right, let's dive in. President Trump woke up this morning and he chose accountability, a concept California leadership is apparently unfamiliar with. The Golden State is officially off notice and straight into investigation territory. The president writing this morning on Truth Social, quote, California under Governor Gavin Newsom is more corrupt than Minnesota, if that's possible. The fraud investigation of California has begun. Thank you for your attention to this matter. You know what this means. It's time to grab the popcorn. And this could be curtains for Gavin Newsom's White House fantasies. I mean, we've already seen how fast fraud allegations flattened Tim Walz's ambitions, and that was before things got anywhere near full-blown indictments. As for Newsom, he's got millions of dollars missing in California. I would even argue probably billions. And the state's official explanation is basically, we have no idea where it went. So let's see if the investigators can find it, because something tells me Newsom knows exactly where the money is. Meanwhile, the heat just cranked up on Tim Walz. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt dropped a bombshell. The DOJ is launching a criminal investigation into the Minnesota governor himself.
We have nearly 2,000 agents from the Homeland Security Investigations Team. The FBI is on the ground, and we're freezing money. HHS cut off funding for child care centers and for daycares. USDA Secretary Rollins has been asking Governor Walz to see the recipients of SNAP in his state. So this is all hands on deck, rest assured. It's a top priority for President Trump. And he believes that Governor Walz is criminally liable. And I think the Department of Justice is going to find out.
What are the odds he hops on a plane to Somalia? Just asking. Because House Oversight Chair James Comer, he says the Democrats.
Okay, I got 2 and 3 part.
Level of fraud trying to cover up is basically a full-time job. And it's clear the governor is in full panic mode. Here he is today lashing out at the president, or Donald Trump is bad. That's all they've got. And while Walz tries to pull himself together, ICE has already moved into Minneapolis, despite the fact they were refused a room at the Hampton Inn in Lakeville, which is a Hilton property. DHS, they went public with the emails showing the hotel's refusal the other day. One email reads, quote, we have noticed an influx of government reservations made today that have been for DHS, and we are not allowing any ICE or immigration agents to stay at our property. If you are with DHS or immigration, let us know, as we will have to cancel your reservation. Well, I did some digging, and guess what I found? That Hilton property banning DHS agents was bought last summer for $15 million by 4 Indian owners. It was purchased through an LLC. This is the actual document here on your screen. You can see it now. And here are the members of the LLC, which all names appear to be Indian. So after being exposed, Hilton apologized for banning DHS agents, but independent journalist Nick Sorter, he decided to test it for himself, pretending to be a government employee. First, the front desk said rooms were available. Then he asked for 10 rooms, and suddenly the receptionist became quite suspicious. Watch this.
I don't know if you can use a government rate or not, but
it depends because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Is it what agency is it for? Using the government rate?
They'd be Department of Homeland Security.
So we're not accepting people from immigration, ICE agents, DHS into our property. It's just our management ownership.
Okay, I thought that changed today. Was that?
I just talked to my the owner of the building, and he didn't say there has been any changes. So
really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's just policy.
Discriminating against law enforcement is just policy? Well, let me tell you, after this was released, Hilton is now coming out and saying they're removing the independently owned hotel from their system. They write, quote, "The independent hotel owner had assured us that they had fixed this problem and published a message confirming this. A recent video clearly raises concerns that they are not meeting our standards and values. As such, we are taking immediate action to remove this hotel from our systems. Hilton is and has always been a welcoming place for all." Now, this whole debacle, it didn't stop ICE for 1 second. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, she is now on the ground in Minneapolis with 2,000 agents. It is all hands on deck. And how does the governor respond today? He expresses his concerns for the safety of the Somali community.
Look, I'm concerned for my family, but I've...
Is he trying to...
Okay, one more part.
And here's the comedy in all of this. While agents are rooting out anybody trying to hurt America, liberals are busy demanding Trump open the borders to Somalians. But then they panic when asked to actually house a refugee. Watch.
Trump is banning immigration from Somalia. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's terrible.
Why?
I just think that there's a lot of bad things going on in Somalia, and we should be taking people in war-torn countries in.
We should be taking them in. We're trying to get people today to sign up to take in a Somali migrant. Would you be able to do that?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I could or not. I don't live in New York.
Well, that's okay. Where do you live?
Massachusetts.
We could send them to Massachusetts if that's all right. Could we get your name, email address, and then how many you'd be able to take in?
I couldn't do that without talking to my husband first.
Liberals, all talk, no action. Policies their leaders implement are fine as long as they don't personally affect them. And speaking of Democratic leadership, check out who's rushing to social media to praise Tim Walz after he canceled his third-term campaign. First up, Governor Pritzker. He writes, "My friend Governor Tim Walz has been a dedicated public servant from his time in the National Guard to governor of Minnesota. Everywhere he goes, he carries with him his Midwestern values of kindness and standing up for working families, thankful for his service and sacrifice." My governor here in California, Gaslight Newsom, he also chimed in writing, quote, "Tim Walz is a man of character, strength, and compassion. He has served Minnesota with heart and dignity. Minnesota and America is better off thanks to his lifelong public service. Wishing him all the best in this next chapter.
Guys.
Thank you, Tim Walz." Better off? Who's better off? Tim Walz and his Somali friends? Because the average Minnesota taxpayer is about as better off as a snowman in July. I mean, Gavin Newsom, he's doing what he does best again, gaslighting the nation while also setting records for driving people out of his state. The company U-Haul just released its yearly report showing more people are leaving California than any other state for the 6th year in a row. To add insult to injury, California ranks dead last in states where U-Hauls are headed. So you ask why? Highest state income tax in the nation at 13.3%. And Democrats like Gavin are trying to block Trump's working families tax cuts, denying workers real money back into their pockets. As for the top 10 U-Haul growth index states, the award goes to Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, Washington, Arizona, Idaho, Alabama, and Georgia. Not a coincidence that Texas, Florida, and Tennessee, the top 3, don't have a state income tax. People vote with their moving trucks. Now, the bottom 10 states, Michigan, Connecticut, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, and of course, California. And something tells me New York you're just going about it in a different way because clearly your way is not working. And here's the comedy in all of this.
Okay, those were 3 good ones today from her. Hey, I got see which one this one is. 12 minutes.
Whatever the hell else you want to add in there, community. The alphabet mafia. I've dealt with a lot when it comes to that mafia. But sometimes I watch a clip of this
I asked her
gang,
about that lady
and
here.
it shocks even me. And I saw this come across my X feed. This clip of a trans activist in California threatening to kill an anti-trans protester who, by the way, was like well within her rights to just ask simple questions. You're out in public, you're allowed to speak. If someone doesn't want to speak back, they don't have to. And boy, let me tell you, this escalated really quickly. Take a look.
What's that? Great. What age do you think a girl's mature enough to have? I think that's a decision for herself, her providers, and parents. How did you feel about your body shape when you were going through treatment? I have lots of different feelings about it, but you know what, I'm just going to go over here and stand. I'm not going to supply to you. Okay. Counter your hatred. You guys, it's not hatred to tell a child that you grow up to be healthy and whole. Girl cop surgery. Kaiser Permanente charges over $100 copay, and the surgeon makes $25,000. I was approved for a phalloplasty with 2 appointments over Zoom. My doctor told me I could have a fake penis that would allow me to either pee standing up or to have penetrative sex, but not both.
Is this one okay or not, you guys?
Might one day have top surgery and a phalloplasty.
I'll stop it.
Is that something you would allow them to have? You know, they make a phalloplasty out of the skin tissue on your thigh or your forearm. It's like a skin sausage. It's a fake penis. $130,000. I'm gonna hunt you down and Wait, you can't say that. You can't tell somebody you're gonna kill them.
Yeah, I got it,
You
Carol.
can't say
Ooh, joining me now is Beth Bourne, the woman you just saw assaulted. She's an advocate for parental rights, women's sports for women
Remember this
only, and
lady
free
I was asking
speech
you about
in
before?
Davis, California. Beth, thank you for joining me today. I cannot believe how well you handled that. I mean, I saw how hard she grabbed your face and she like shoved it away. That was clear assault. And you were just like, you're not allowed to say that, ma'am.
You know, I've had a lot of experience now interacting with these I don't know what you want to call them, these
psychopaths,
trans cult believers. Yeah. Well, and so I just, you know, I know what my rights are in a public space like that, and I know it's okay to ask questions. And she knew I was recording, and I think I might have made her feel uncomfortable having to confront the truth, you know, about this medical scandal that's kind of unfolding right now.
Yeah, I have to ask, like, did you contact the police after this? Like, what happened directly after she, you know, assaults you, threatens to kill you, and then walks out? What happened after that?
You know, I'm very careful where I do my protesting now because I know people can get violent. So there were actually 2 police officers standing within 10 feet behind me, and as well as maybe 3 security guards, all in uniform. And so immediately after it happened, I did report it to the police officer, and he went ahead and filmed my camera. So, you know, there's no way it could have been altered, right? He recorded it right then and there.
Great. And then do you know if they are doing anything about it? Because I don't know if it was the internet. I saw it on the internet under your post. They were very quick to find this woman. She has been identified as Madeline Mann. She is an administrative director at the University of California, San Francisco, in their research education programs. I mean, wow, what a shocker, Beth, that another person within the education, you know, industrial complex has this crazy psychopathic, you know, thought process about trans and is, you know, in that position.
You know, I worked at the University of California, Davis, just an hour and a half away, and it really is an echo chamber. You know, it is a bubble within a bubble of people where everyone has to have the same belief system and nobody can question it. So I was not at all surprised that the suspect, I mean, I don't have any confirmation yet, but that, you know, that's clearly who it looks like is in the video.
Yeah. And I tried contacting the university to ask them about this. And you're going to be shocked to hear, Beth, I haven't heard back from them yet.
Shocking.
Yeah. So tell me, why do you go out here and why do you do this? It's obviously very dangerous. These people are unhinged. Tell me, why have you decided that you are going to wade into the lion's den and have these signs and confront these people?
So it's very personal to me. my daughter and my family we were very much harmed by this ideology and this belief system in our public schools. And I didn't realize what the teachers and counselors were saying to my daughter or what she was learning at school. And, her pediatricians here in Davis wanted to immediately medicalize her at Kaiser Permanente. And I pushed back. My daughter's, she's one of the lucky ones. She's healthy and whole. But it really, I have all the receipts. I have the medical records. I have the curriculum from the schools. And so I just realized I couldn't live with myself if I didn't do everything I could to end this, because I have so many friends and I've met so many parents who, and young people, detransitioners that have been harmed by this.
Yeah, myself as well. Especially when, Chloe Cole, I'm sure you probably have met as well. You get to know these people and you hear their stories. And I really was like, man, the detransitioners are going to be so crucial for ending this once and for all, because their stories are so heartbreaking and so compelling. You can't overlook it and you can't ignore it. It really is incredible to see the work that they've done. But of course, it takes all of us, right? So you decided from your experience, having all of this, the personal experience with your child, you decided to go undercover and pretend to be non-binary to help expose what is happening.
Exactly.
I can't believe this is so epic. I pretended to be non-binary to expose a medical scandal at Kaiser Permanente and tell everyone how easy it was.
Yeah, I mean, this really is still like the craziest thing I've ever done. But it was so easy, and I knew that well, I guess I didn't know it'd be this easy, but I just went ahead and I told my doctors, that because I was worried about my own daughter and turning 18. Mm-hmm. So this was maybe 3 years ago. And within 45 minutes after me declaring my non-binary gender identity, they had me meeting with a primary care physician to get on testosterone. That took 8 minutes.
Oh
they changed my medical records that day to change my pronouns and my gender that day. And then it was this white glove experience, like, would you like to talk to a gender specialist? And then the surgeon, for a top surgery. And no matter what I said to them about having, mental illness in my family or been, sexually assaulted myself as a young girl or having, anorexia or eating disorders, common things that young women have experienced, or in my case, older women, they're still so happy to give me the surgery. Mm-hmm. So I got approved for the top surgery in 2 appointments. And then I also asked for a phalloplasty, and they approved that as well. They rushed it. They allowed me not to have to be on the testosterone for a year. They said, okay, in this case, we'll let you go ahead and do both the top surgery and the phalloplasty at the same time.
Oh my God.
Within a few months of me declaring my non-binary identity. So,
which is, it's so criminal, Beth, because to anyone that's paying attention, it's very obviously about profit. You mentioned it in your video with this woman. Yes. These doctors are making bank off of this. And then these people become lifelong patients. So it's just an ongoing cash cow. I don't understand how they're not recognizing that.
Yeah. No, it's true. Then you have the revisions, then you have, your endocrine system's all messed up. So you need different drugs for that. Yeah. You become a medical patient for life.
God bless you for doing all of this great work, going out there. And tell me this, was this the most danger that you have found yourself in, or has it gotten worse than, someone grabbing your face and threatening to kill you?
I've been in a couple situations now with the Turning Point USA student clubs at UC Berkeley and at UC Davis. And both times when I went to hear a conservative speaker, I think last time it was Rob Schneider, the Antifa, Trans-Tifa, they show up and, things were thrown at me. My signs were ripped up. I was punched in the back of the head on the UC Davis campus. So I've had physical assault several times now. With the threat, it did shake me enough that I wasn't able to even look at the video or post it for almost a week because it was, it's pretty scary. Yeah. And I do feel it's just a really hard time to speak out because the left is going to come after you.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, especially in California. I wouldn't,
Right.
I'm sure there are great men and women who serve as law enforcement in California. I know it's not all of them, but the fact that the trans Tifa has been able to do what they've done to you, I mean, I would question how many have actually had repercussions from that, because what I see in some of the stuff that I'm watching, it's like, oh, great, you can assault someone and the police don't even do anything about it. So it's scary there in California.
It is.
I will be
got
praying
one
for
for
you,
Cheryl.
for your safety, because there's a bunch of lunatics out there. I get it. You guys want to save your state, and I commend you for that, but it's dangerous in the meantime. So, Beth, tell everyone where they can follow your work.
I actually put a lot on Facebook under Beth Young Born, and I set it to public. And then I'm also on X. I think it's Born Beth 2345.
Yeah, Born _Beth
yeah.
2345.
Yeah, thank you. There it is.
Yeah.
And I also did post the story on a Substack. So
great.
it's there. So,
Okay.
I really just appreciate it.
Yeah, can they find the Substack on your X account?
It's Reality Last Stand. And I think if you just put in, Beth Born non-binary undercover, it would pop up.
The keywords you never thought that you would find yourself
Exactly.
in. Now that's it. No, just Google Beth non-binary and my name will pop right up on the first one.
Exactly. It does.
Well, I appreciate all of your great work. I will be praying for your safety. Stay safe out there, and we will be continuing to push the university for some sort of consequences for this woman. She should not be able to get away with this and keep her career intact, especially working for a university. So we will keep on that, and you keep doing your thing, and we'll support you, Beth.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, that's a lady on YouTube. Talks about different topics. Okay, Carol sent me a short clip. That is something there, Carol. That's a good one. Thanks, Carol. All right, I got one more 15-minute one, and I'll do a couple more short ones after. Flying Eagle's not here, so you guys got to help me out on this one, see if it's good or bad.
Save as many as you can. You have no idea what's coming, priest.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about quantum computers and why people care so much about them. There are literally tens of thousands of some of the brightest people in the world today trying to build these machines and understand them. And I'm going to tell you why. In my last 15 years of working on this type of stuff, I found that scientists divide up into two categories of zealots about this field. The first half are people who are absolutely entranced by the physics of these things. This quote is from a respectable scientist, in fact, one of the founders of this field, that may look a little strange to you who don't follow theoretical physics, but there is a very clear prediction that our most successful theory of nature makes, and that is that there are an enormous number, mind-bogglingly large number, of parallel realities, as real as this one, that have different consistent histories. So imagine a world where all of the laws of physics as we know them are obeyed, but different decisions were made along the way. Different decisions at the level of tiny microscopic particles, different decisions all the way up to what you chose to eat for lunch and whether you chose to come to this session or not. Quantum mechanics makes a very specific prediction that all of those are as real as the thing that you remember. And this is bizarre because we don't see those other things. But science has reached the point now where we can build machines that exploit those other worlds. But science has reached the point now where we can build machines that exploit those other worlds, that exploit those other worlds. We can build machines that exploit those other worlds. We can build machines that exploit those other worlds.
But science has reached the point now where we can build machines that exploit those other worlds.
Quantum computers are perhaps the most exciting of all of these that we have within, or almost within, our grasp right now. So people from a physics background love this. They want to understand the world. They want to understand the universe, how it all works. There's another type of person who tends to come from the computer science side that's like, yeah, okay, that's all great. But there's a different thing going on here, which is just as exciting, if not more, and that these machines that supposedly can do this wild stuff, let's forget about how they work, if you could build one, could solve problems that you could never, ever solve with any computer of the sort that we build. If you took every single atom of silicon in the world and made the most sophisticated conventional Intel-style processor that you could build, there are problems we know of that I could write down on a sheet of paper that you could never, ever, ever solve with that thing, that you could with this kind of machine. So that's very exciting. Wow. Humans use tools to do things. If you give humans a new kind of tool that can do things that you couldn't otherwise do, imagine the possibilities. So you may think, well, this is all fine and dandy, but aren't these things in the realm of theory and speculation kind of in the same regime as other futuristic things you may have heard of, which may be allowed by the laws of physics but aren't here yet? That's not true. There are, in fact, many of these machines deployed now.
There are, in fact, many of these machines deployed now. Deployed now. Deployed now.
This analogy with flight, I think, is an interesting one. So a horse can beat, or could beat, the initial flight of the Wright brothers' flight in speed. But a plane is not a faster horse. A plane is a different kind of machine. The plane takes advantage of another resource that nature gives us, this third dimension, in order to do something that matters to people better that you could do with any horse. It doesn't matter how fast you make a horse, it will never fly. At least the kinds of horses that we know about.
At least the kinds of horses that we know about.
So these types of computers now are being thought of in the same way. They're not terrifically powerful yet, but they're doing something completely different than what your computer does. And that thing is like flight. It gives these computers access to these new resources, maybe you could call them parallel universes, in order to do something that you couldn't otherwise do. Because what they're going to do is apply this machine to an area that I think is fundamentally important. It's a crux of our future as humans. And that's, can we build machines like us? So building machines like us might be possible. I certainly believe it is. I might be wrong. But what I do know is that the types of approaches that people are taking now to build intelligent machines benefit immensely from what this machine that we've built does best. So what this center is about is applying this beautiful new computational idea in the service of trying to make intelligent machines. Now, I can't think of anything personally any cooler than trying to use quantum computers to build intelligent machines, so this is very exciting to me. These are from our lab in Burnaby in British Columbia. From the outside, they look like giant black monoliths, big metal boxes, about 10 feet on a side, 12 feet tall. And they are powered, they have a fridge inside them, a refrigerator that cools these chips to almost absolute zero. Just a wisp, a fraction of a degree above absolute zero. Hundreds of times colder than interstellar space. Amongst the coldest and most isolated and extreme conditions that humans have ever been able to engineer. These fridges, interestingly enough, which are called pulse tube dilution refrigerators, have a thing called a pulse tube, which emits a sound roughly once per second, which sounds eerily like a heartbeat. So if you have the opportunity to stand next to one of these machines, it is an awe-inspiring thing, at least for me. It feels like an altar to an alien god. They really are impressive machines, which sounds eerily like a heartbeat. It is an awe-inspiring thing. It feels like an altar to an alien god. Altar to an alien god. Altar to an alien god. Like an altar to an alien god.
It feels like an altar to an alien god.
At the heart of this big box is a tiny chip about the size of your thumbnail. And on this chip resides all of the wonder and magic that makes this thing go.
Wonder and magic that makes this thing go.
I'm not going to describe in any mathematical detail how it all works, but let me give you an analogy. In quantum mechanics, there's this concept that a thing can exist in two states which are mutually exclusive at the same time, quote unquote. So I'm using those words because the English language was developed before we had concepts to describe what these things actually are doing. But I'm going to give you a roundabout way of understanding this. Imagine that there really are parallel universes out there. And now imagine you have two that are exactly identical in every respect, all the way out to the horizon as far as we can see, down to the last little atomic detail of every single thing, with only one difference. And that's the value of a little thing called a qubit on this chip, which is a contraction of quantum bit. And that qubit is very much like a bit or a transistor in a conventional computer. It has two distinct physical states, which we call 0 and 1 for bit. In a conventional computer, these are mutually exclusive. That device is either one or the other and never anything else. In a quantum computer, that device can be in this strange situation where these two parallel universes have a nexus, a point in space where they overlap. And when you increase the number of these devices, every time you add one of these qubits, you double the number of these parallel universes that you have access to, until such time when you get to a chip like this, which is about 500 of these bits, you have something like 2 to the 500th power of these guys living in that chip. So the way I think about it is that the shadows of these parallel worlds overlap with ours. And if we're smart enough, we can dive into them and grab their resources and pull them back into ours to make an effect in our world. Now, this may sound very odd to you and bizarre, and in fact, I am using language that a normal theoretical physicist probably wouldn't use, but this is, what I'm telling you is absolutely correct and in line with the way that these things actually work. We've been doing this for some time now, and in fact, we have our own version of Moore's Law. The doubling of the number of these qubits on the chip has happened once a year for the past 9 years. So for the last 9 years, every year, the number of these qubit devices has doubled, and it will continue to do so. This business of parallel universes is going to turn out to be very important. And I think what's going to happen is somebody is going to come up with an experiment to test this reality of these things. And we're going to be able to do so. I believe that humanity is on the cusp of the most important technological, societal revolution that's ever occurred.
But science has reached a point now where we can build machines that exploit those other worlds.
Under 3 minutes.
Nothing is a coincidence. Nothing is random. Wow. Everything is happening for a reason. And you have an important part to play.
And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh.
Gather my saints together unto me. Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
His return for his church at the rapture of the church is at the door. My hope is not in this world, but in Jesus Christ, who will soon take us out of this world.
Okay, I thought that was I hope that was okay. Interesting video. Last one's first Nick video. And I'll be back between 5 and 6 tonight.
Incredible. This is a 9-0 unanimous
11
decision for the
minutes.
Trump administration, and it relates directly to the mass deportation agenda. What this is going to do is allow the Trump administration to accelerate the deportation agenda like never before. And this clears the way from these radical left activist judges that have tried to block it or slow it down. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into this. I'm going to tell you how big of a deal this is in just a moment. But first and foremost, check out the My Coffee savings when you use promo code Nick at mypillow.com. You can get the My Coffee for as low as $19.98. That's if you get the one-time order. But with a monthly subscription, you save even more. And ladies and gentlemen, every time you drink My Pillow coffee, an eagle, a bald eagle gets its wings, a flag gets its stripes. It is a patriotic thing to do. It is serving your country to drink My Coffee. Just look at Mike Lindell right there with the flag. I mean, that is an American patriot if I've ever seen one. And if you want to support the channel, support the patriots at My Pillow, and get yourself some delicious gourmet high quality black gold, then go to mypillow.com and use promo code Nick and save a ton of money. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this. So this is the decision. Again, a 9-0 unanimous decision that effectively strips power away from activist judges who have been trying to sabotage our nation's deportation efforts. Now, the liberal justices on the bench had to admit that these federal courts, these activist judges, they can no longer interfere and try to stop the enforcement of our immigration laws. And so this decision is in the case of Urias Orellana versus Bondi, and it shuts down a major legal loophole that asylum seekers have used for years to avoid being sent home back to their home country. So today, this is what we're going to break down, how this unanimous decision gives the Trump administration total control to secure the country. Now, to understand this, why this is such a nuclear bomb for the left, why this is such a truth nuke, you have to understand the trick that the left has been using and the game that they've been playing. So under the law, to get asylum, you have to prove that you face persecution in your home country. Not just hard times, not just economic struggle. You're not just coming here to seek a better life because you're coming from a poop hole country. You have to show that you are actually being targeted by a hostile government, or that you're in some war-torn country and you face literal persecution, right? You have to prove that. But in this case, a family from El Salvador claimed that they were being threatened by a local hitman, right? And an immigration judge looked at the facts and said, I'm sorry, but even if this is true, it doesn't meet the legal bar for persecution. Just because you got some hitman after you, it doesn't mean that this is in compliance with our immigration laws for asylum seekers. So the Board of Immigration Appeals, the highest experts in the land, agreed that this would not qualify. But activist lawyers, they tried to make this into a universal standard, right? They tried to challenge this particular instance, which would have long-lasting implications if they won, because it would set a court precedent. So these activist lawyers, they tried to take this to the federal appeals court, and they were hoping that a liberal judge would reinterpret the facts and stop the deportation of this family from El Salvador. And they wanted the courts to start from scratch, and they wanted to second guess the experts, and SCOTUS just said, absolutely not. Even Ketanji Brown Jackson, she agreed with the conservative justices. It was a unanimous 9-0 decision, which means every single justice at the Supreme Court agreed that the rules are very, very clear on this. Federal appeals courts must defer to the findings of the immigration agencies. And so the court applied what's called the substantial evidence standard. And this means that as long as an immigration official's decision is reasonable, a judge can't simply overturn it. Okay, and that's why they're in that position, because they look at the facts and the merits of these individual situations, and they are the enforcement arm. They are the experts. And so the Supreme Court is saying that we defer these things to the experts on the matter. All right, so this is a game changer, and I want you guys to understand because immigration judges are part of the executive branch, specifically the Justice Department, and so like the DOJ under Pam Bondi. So this ruling effectively hands the master key for deportations directly to the Trump administration's agencies and ensures that activist judges can't act as a resistance from the bench. They can't block the immigration judges from making these decisions. They can't interfere. That is the precedent that the Supreme Court just set. And so once the precedent is set, this will be deferred to every time a situation like this comes up. So this is clearing significant roadblocks. And so why does this 9-0 situation matter so much? Why does this unanimous decision matter? Because it proves that the left's legal arguments were so weak that they couldn't even get Ketanji Brown Jackson to side with them. And that is a real testament to just how bad it is that, you know, you have these activist lawyers and these activist judges on the bench that make these decisions to try to stop everything that Trump does. And this comes at a critical time where the Supreme Court is saying enough. Enough is enough. That is not happening. You're done. The precedent is set. This is this has nationwide implications. And so the administration is now able to ramp up deportations, and new judges are being instructed that asylum should be granted only in rare and extreme instances. And by the way, the asylum seeker, situation, our policies around asylum seekers is half of the problem with the illegal immigrant crisis in this country, because people can come here and claim asylum, and under the Biden administration, they would just get released. It would just be like catch and release into America. You get a court date, and then you never come back for the court date. There's deportation orders, but there's nobody enforcing the deportation. That's what it was like under the Biden administration. And so all these people get into this country because they claim asylum status by lying about it. And so this really sets a strong precedent that there is a high burden of proof, and federal courts, activist judges cannot interfere with the Trump administration's immigration judges that look at the merits of these individual cases. So by removing the ability of lower courts to micromanage these cases, the Supreme Court has again cleared the runway for thousands of deportations to move forward without years of legal roadblocks and stalling and delay tactics. So the roadblocks are being demolished and destroyed, and the law is finally being followed as it was written. And that's what we want. We want the law that's already on the books to be enforced the way that it's supposed to be. And at the end of the day, this is a victory for common sense and national security. So the Supreme Court, they sent a loud and clear message, including the liberal justices, that the era of using persecution as a catch-all excuse to stay in this country illegally is over. That is over and done with. The Trump administration now has the green light to enforce the law as it was written, as it's intended. And I want to know what you guys think about this. Is it time to finally finish the job, ramp up the mass deportation agenda, secure the border, keep the border secure? This is what I voted for. This is what I know a lot of you guys voted for. So I thought this was a story worth sharing, and it is a major victory, which is a nice break from, the Iran situation. I'm getting a little exhausted talking about that because, it's not an ideal situation, to say the least, regardless how you feel about it. But this is a major, major clear victory. So let me know down in the comment section if you're glad to see the court doing its job. And by the way, this reminds me, I'm going to end with this. This reminds me of that Dumb and Dumber scene after the tariff decision. This reminds me of that scene in Dumb and Dumber where they're stranded on the side of the road because Lloyd drove halfway across the country in the wrong direction, and Harry starts walking back, and then next thing you know, Lloyd's coming back down the road with that scooter, and Harry's like, just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber. you do something like this and totally redeem yourself. That's how I feel about this Supreme Court victory, ladies and gentlemen. The Supreme Court has finally done its job and done something good, and it's nice to see. We love to see it. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, that first one on Nick. All right, that's going to end it for now for the first show. And have some more stuff for tonight. 5 and 6 after dinner time. So have a good afternoon, and thanks, Kay, Carol, Tim, Lucy, and Flying Eagle Watts. They can make it in this first show. Okay, God bless everybody. The mom, and please hit like and subscribe to the backup channels in the description box, please. Thank you. Stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith. Never give up. Signing off for now until this evening. Chico Dude. We'll see you guys soon.